Welcome back to TheChowTimePod. It's your host, Red. I got a video today from the Cavernicals. The rise of passport bros. Liberals are definitely not happy about this and calling all passport bros conservatives and all these things. So this is definitely probably going to be a diss towards passport bros, but let's see what is going on. Please like and subscribe down below. I really appreciate that. Let's get to that chow. It's chow time.
Dating in America versus dating overseas. I'm in Colombia right now. I'm about to go on a date. I remember that American woman who refused to go on a date to the Cheesecake Factory, a place where the bill is easily $100. I'll spend that same amount of money on this date and you can see how she reacts.
In this video we are going to talk about top 10 best countries to find a great wife. Can't decide if you prefer Latinas or Asian ladies? The Philippines could be the place for you. After nearly 300 years of Spanish colonization, most Filipinos have a degree of mixed blood, making them among the world's most beautiful people. I have never visited Russia. I have met many Russian girls while traveling. They couldn't stop whining about Russian men, and how difficult it was for them to find a decent man. Basically, you will be popular with them if you have a good career, if you are manly, if you are romantic, and if you are healthy.
And that's the thing. Men in their original countries are much more patriarchy in a sense, that they see things much differently and gender roles are very strict with them. So when Americans come, most Americans are very fluid with gender roles. As an American guy, I'm a little bit more okay with certain things that women don't do anymore. Where over there, if you don't do those certain things, it's a problem. So it makes sense that these women would want nicer, less rigid type guys to be with.
It is now February 2023 and there are still lots and lots of Ukrainian refugees here in Poland's capital and elsewhere in the European Union and further afield in the West. So in today's video, I'm going to react to a question that's been posed many times in the comments below my videos for the last year. Where are the Ukrainian single ladies today? And whether it's worth pursuing them.
Where and how to date a Ukrainian girl in Europe and North America. Dating a refugee. If that doesn't summarize the passport bro community, I don't know what else will. Now, if you're like me, you probably have never heard of what a passport bro is, but another name for them is just sexpat, because that's what this community has basically rebranded. These are people online who all talk about what are the best countries to go to pick up women. And a lot of the time it comes down to two things. What women are anti-woke and want to be trad wives, and also what women will be impressed by my money over my personality, right? And based on various racial and ethnic stereotypes, a lot of these people in these communities have favorite countries. Chief among them seems to be Colombia, Brazil for Americans, but also Southeast Asia, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. So what I wanted to do today is just take a look at these communities. There is a big YouTube community, but I do want to focus more on the Passport Bros subreddit. But anyway, before we go any further, follow me on social media, check out my Patreon if you want to get access to the Discord server, and just check out the links to anything in the description, including like my Instagram and stuff. Now, I showed you some videos at the start. There has been a lot of social media content created around this stuff. And I guess the political context, this is a political channel, is that a lot of these passport bros are motivated by the rise of feminism. And I'd say it's more the rise of women no longer tolerating being treated like shit by men who just want a woman as basically their personal servant.
Are women getting treated shit like by men now on a global basis here in the United States? I don't believe so. Women have so much more rights than men here in the United States thanks to feminism. They are able to do whatever they want. What are you talking about? Like, men do not oppress women here, not on a global scale. Like, a regular average Joe with a regular job is not oppressing these women or causing these women any issues.
And baby machine, like we've seen this a lot with conservative thought leaders all talking about like getting rid of no fault divorce, talking about a woman's highest pursuit in life is to have children. We talked about.
I agree with that. I agree that for most men, their highest pursuit in life is also children.
About how Matt Walsh and those types reacted to dual income, no kids, basically saying that if you don't have children, you betray your ancestors. So that's where these people are coming from. There has been a rise in American women specifically preferring socialism to capitalism. A poll from the end of last year, young women trend far more liberal than young men. A survey conducted by Change Research found that overall young women, transgender people, and non-binary people trend more politically left. Nearly 2/3, 64% of women, identified as either progressive or liberal, while 13% identified as moderate and 11% as conservative. On the other hand, men were more likely to lean right. 13% of men surveyed identified as libertarian, 18% said they were conservative, and 11% aligned themselves with MAGA Republicans. Another 24% said they were progressive, and another 15% said they were liberal. So there, clearly in America, we have quite a big divide among young people, where most young non-men trend left-leaning, most men trend, I guess, centre-right, right-wing in American politics. So when women start talking more about, personal autonomy, talking about not putting up with, bullshit their parents had to put up with, that makes some men uncomfortable, especially conservative men. So what do they do?
See, no, that's bullshit, because their mothers didn't go through as bad as what they're saying. Like, they're saying like their mothers are slaves, that their mothers didn't have any autonomy, or their grandmothers had no autonomy to whatsoever. Remember, women were still the major purchasers in all households. So women still spent a majority of the money. So where did they get this money if they wasn't given to them by their husbands to spend? So no, they weren't just abused left and right and raped left and right and just made to be baby machines. Men cared about their wives. This is the narrative that like liberals and the woke mob wants to push, that men were just out there terrorizing women left and right out on the streets, and women were just out there with like eye sockets coming out and black eyes everywhere. That wasn't the case. And has never been the case as a grand scale like that in the United States.
They say, well, I'm going to go seek out trad wives in very traditional conservative countries. And as we're going to see, it is very funny to me because it seemingly makes stereotypes based on what they believe to be true, that all women in certain countries are very traditional and all they want is to be wives and mothers, completely erasing that a load of these.
We didn't say all women. This is the part where I think you're reading it into wrong. We do say it's easier to find what you're looking for in these countries. They do lean more conservative. They teach their daughters differently to be wives, to be mothers. That is a total different than how they are raised here. Yes, there are modernism and feminism in all these other countries, and women are still women. Women are women first. We do admit this. But how they were raised and how they see marriage and how they see a relationship is different than how a lot of women see it here. A lot of women seem to think it's a temporary thing, where over there they see it as a very permanent thing.
Countries have lots of like socialist revolution or socialist groups in their history. Like Colombia is a place with loads of left-wing feminist movements, but they think every woman in Colombia is someone who wants to be a trad wife for a rich American. It is very bizarre.
No, again, we never said all these women in all these other countries were great. We also tell men you need to vet just as much as you need to vet here. But it's easier to find the fish you're looking for when you go to the ponds where there's a lot of those fish. There's not a lot of those fish here. That's why men are leaving. And they never bring up one thing is marriage laws, alimony laws, child support laws, all these laws that really affect men and devastate men to the point where they are deleting themselves. They don't have to deal with that. They rather go to another country where marriage is solid. Some places divorce is illegal, which is what men want. They want to be able to stick with their wives for the rest of their life without, her taking half his stuff, 70% of his stuff, and him having to pay her for the rest of her life.
So there's a couple subreddits, but there's mainly one I want to focus on. I think the name can come from two things. Because it was started by Americans, I know, 40% of Americans don't have passports? So it's kind of like, oh, get your passport and leave America, go find women elsewhere. But also just, pretty clearly you need a passport to travel, so they call themselves Passport Bros. But this is the biggest one. The Passport Bros, 15,000 members on Reddit. The description is everyone should have a way out. Everyone should have a passport. It's that bad. If you're here to hate on the men of this community, go somewhere else. Well, I'm here. If you're here to hate on women, go somewhere else. This is not the place. And honestly, it does seem like the place to hate on women. Just, objectifying different racial groups and ethnic groups, I don't think is respecting women, in my opinion. The rules: no hating on women for no reason, no hating on men for no reason, no sex tourism. We are not here to talk about sleeping with women. Go somewhere else for that. But yes, now, to be fair, I guess, a lot of these posts focus on, like, relationships with women and wanting, like, trad wives. But I also have seen loads of people talk about how great it is to just have very casual relationships with women in these countries, right? So
I agree with that. I agree with you in this. There are a lot of people that go around and do a little bit of sex tourism and do call themselves passport bros. And I really don't hate on those people that much. They do put a bad name on passport bros, but everybody puts a bad name on every group. There's good feminists and there's bad feminists. There's a lot more bad ones from what I've seen than the good ones, right? So do we automatically assume everything is bad from this one group off of these small little groups? Some people do, some people don't. This is where you have to come in and discuss and actually point out there are differences of what people are looking for, and there's reasons why people are looking for this. It isn't just because they can't get women and they're dusties and broke. No, there's a lot of things in the US that is making it so men are leaving. Men can't even help women out on the streets anymore. If a man helped a woman change the tire, all of a sudden he can be accused of being a sexual predator. This has happened many times in public. This is why men don't even help women out in public in the West anymore. But it's not like that over there. These are all the little nuances that people are missing out in the West. So many men are getting screwed over through Me Too, through just the gym stuff. Everything men do now to women, even just looking at them, is considered predatory.
So clearly, I think everyone on here breaks the rules. So someone talking about their experience in Colombia is funny because it completely illustrates the mindset they're going in here. So they're talking about Medellin, I think. They're saying it's completely ruined by sex tourists. Again, absolutely hilarious. People who go to other countries to find women are complaining that certain cities are ruined by sex tourism, while they're going to cities that are known for Westerners going there for sex tourism. Basically, any good-looking...
That one I agree with them. If you're going to a city that is known for sex tourism, you can't be complaining that it has issues with sex tourism.
Young girl in the city is a semi-pro. When she sees foreigners, she thinks dollars. So it's impossible to build anything with someone with that mindset. Thanks, sex tourist, or passport bros, but this guy is on the passport bros subreddit. I think I've talked to over 150 girls from the city, and I have formed my opinion over almost a year. Lots of girls think of pay to play as their side gig. They only want to engage with gringos for a few hours for dollars. We have completely commoditized beauty. I feel like humanity is in a secular decline globally.
We commoditize beauty here. What do you think it here is? You have to be a millionaire to date me. You have to spend $200 on me on a date, $300 on me on the first date. You have to do extravagant, 5-star restaurants, no cheesecake factories and all these. This is very similar to how these other countries are operating. But women here are doing it very openly, and it's not seen as prostitution. It's not seen as sex work, but it really is.
Now, the thing is, in Colombia itself, I have read stories recently of, like, these Tinder scams. But then I would say to rich Westerners, like, just don't do this then. Like, don't go to Colombia thinking.
See, again, there's Tinder scams here in the US. There's Tinder scams everywhere. This is the part. He's cherry picking the news. Yes, it happens in Colombia, but it happens here. Everything that you're mentioning happens here on a much grander scale and worse scale.
I'm going to be very successful as a man with women because I make money and I wasn't successful with women back home and I want like an easy ride, because then you do become like a pretty easy target for scams and criminal gangs, and sadly some people have actually lost their lives
with. If you, that's how you're operating.
Violence as well. So on multiple levels, just don't do this. Don't target women because you think your wealth will make them like you.
Don't target women because your wealth. Like, Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, when you want to date a woman, are you not targeting her? Do you not pick that woman to target towards? Do you how you're saying it makes it sound so predatory? We're looking for a certain type of woman. Like, why do you make it sound so bad? Like, just like men here and women here want rich men. They want tall men. They want all of these things out of men, but we never say shit about that. But as soon as men want something from women, it's a problem. And then when they go somewhere to find it, it's a problem.
Now remember how this subreddit talked about not being a sex pack subreddit? So here's one. Just bought my Thailand ticket. Will be my 6th trip to Thailand. Already have a cutie lined up that I saw last month. Let the good times roll. Going in May, passport bro life, and will be in the Baltic region very soon. Love this lifestyle. Again, I thought this wasn't the sex tourism subreddit. This guy's talking about his 6th trip to Thailand, and then he's going to the Baltics. So, he's clearly not building a life with this Thai woman that he likes. It's just sex tourism. So again, this subreddit is literally just rebranded.
Yes and no. But he could be dating these women and genuinely building connections with these women. You don't know that. You don't see that part. You just automatically assume he went there just for sex. No, dating and relationships are different in these countries. So maybe he even hasn't found someone. It's the thought process of us going to these countries and finding a woman right away and just like, oh yeah, I got my wife. No, it takes years. It takes time to vet these people. So it's the same thing. Dating process. He doesn't staying there for a long period of time. He might be there for a month. So he's dating around, trying to see what's out there, and he's enjoying dating life out there. It might be because he's sex tourism. I'm not fully discounting everything you're saying, but there's the other side that you're not seeing.
Being a sex pack. And I think this is a very telling post. And, this is why there's so much like terrible stuff with the subreddit. Someone posting, I have zero experience dating. How would it affect trying to get into a relationship abroad? I think this is a massive red flag going in. I'm not considered an option for women here in the States. Want to elaborate on that at all? Like, why?
What's the problem? He's not. He knows where he belongs. He does not fit for the qualifications of most women here. Women are very hypergamous. Average women do not want average men. If this guy's an average man, average looking, average income, he does not qualify for a bulk majority of women. He wants to go find somewhere that he can find a mate. What is wrong with that? None of the women here want to qualify him to be a mate, so he wants to go somewhere else to be qualified as a mate. What is wrong with that? Why do you want to keep men just completely single and struggle here? Because these men are doing okay. They're okay. They're average. Not everybody's going to be a high earner. Not everybody's going to be able to improve themselves to where all these Western women are going to jump at them. He wants a better chance of getting what he wants. A family, kids, a loving marriage. Why do you hate on that from just shitty guys or average guys? Even if a guy was crappy, does he not deserve the chance to try to find something? He might try to improve himself. He can improve himself. But sometimes people might accept him the way he is in other countries. What's wrong with that? If people don't accept him here, that's fine. We're not judging people and not accepting him, but he wants to find somebody. He might not be able to improve to reach those goals. This is so crazy to me that we shame men so much on just trying to not be lonely.
Aren't you an option? So I haven't been able to find a girl that wants to be in a romantic relationship with me. I would prefer to date before I start traveling, but it might not be the case. I was wondering how bad could it possibly be with my lack of experience? I find this like victim behavior very telling, and also like the mindset of a lot of these people. For some reason or another, this guy has not been successful with women in his own country of America. So to him, he's not considered an option in America. It's all women's fault that he's not considered an option. So therefore, because I'm not considered an option.
I didn't say it was all women's fault. It just, he might not qualify. I said this. He might not qualify for some of these women do not want to qualify him. So does he deserve to just die alone and never try? you just relegate to the corner of the U.S. and just die alone, and just look at everybody else in awe.
Option by women in America. Let's go somewhere else. Let's go somewhere else, because women will definitely like me there. Because all my flaws that I have that seemingly turn off the women I've met in my own life, that will never apply to any women overseas, as long as they are religious enough or conservative enough or traditional.
See, you automatically assume these guys are bottom of the barrel, like they can't do anything. Yes, he might not have a relationship. Relationships work so differently nowadays. Men are so weary of trying to talk to women in the United States because of being called a creep or being seen as a predator. So yes, it's hard for these men to get anywhere with women. And how dating apps work. These men are on dating apps. They're trying, but they don't qualify. They don't qualify in looks. So they have an average look. Remember, you're not bringing in the statistic. This is why I hate sometimes the liberal side or the left side. They don't bring in the statistics that we always state in dating apps and a lot of these things. There's reasons why these apps and these datas are pointing this way. Women definitely don't qualify average men. They don't. And it's okay that they don't. I'm not upset about it. Most men aren't upset about it, but they still want to find a mate.
Traditional enough, or they like money enough or something, right? You see this mindset here that somehow there's something wrong with the women in America, like I outlined, because they might be left-leaning and won't put up with your shit anymore and won't put up with loads of misogyny. So you go running to a very misogynistic, sex-backed community, telling them that you're going to run off to another country to try and find women. And I would say to this person, if you struggle to find dates...
It's like, again, misogynistic. We don't hate women. We're not going to a country that hates women. Like, this is where, like, you're using the definitions are being used so, like, candidly. It's a deep hatred of women. Very few. We wouldn't be going out to go find women and marry women, to date women, if we had a deep hatred of women. It just doesn't work that way.
In America, then yeah, you will probably struggle to find meaningful dates in other countries. Because you've left America doesn't mean women suddenly, like, forgive all your flaws that turn off so many women in your own life. But
see, this is why I think you've never traveled yourself, sir. Like, they do. They see differently. They're not into looks as much as people here in the U.S. They're not into certain things that people are here in the U.S. They are a little bit more conservative in what they're looking for. If you can help provide and take care of them and you're nice to them, that's what they kind of want. And if a man can do that, what's wrong with him being able to do that with another woman over there? Again, he seems to be pointing more at sex tourism. I always talk about, these guys, they want a wife. They want families. A lot of the guys in my community, they're going there for wives. Yes, you're not going to be able to find a wife right away. This is the part where I think it's kind of stupid. It takes time to date. It takes time to learn the culture. It takes time to move around and understand what you're doing in those countries. So yes, they can't just go to those countries and find a wife immediately.
But again, like I said, they frame it all as they blame women. The reason they can't get dates is because of women. And someone asked, why do passport bros blame women for having high standards? And it's actually the same guy as before. And listen to this. No one blames the women. It's systemic, obviously. We are all forced into a system, and modern American women role models and music and social media promote this system that sells WAP, basically. Women in other countries aren't familiar with Cardi B, and were raised to be kind and gentle and soft and feminine, while American women are fed this feminist culture that promotes...
It's funny how he's like making noises and like as he's reading this. This is all basic facts, but you're making fun as if like they're stating, fiction.
Beating men at anything, so they use their sexuality to compete in capitalist markets. I'm married to a Colombian, and she's hotter than 99% of American chicks. I know, but most of all, she's the most kind and helpful person I know. She is 2 degrees and is basically like the source of warmth and affection in my life. Meanwhile, hot girls I know in the US have OnlyFans or sugar daddies and basically use their sexuality as income. So if...
See, he's laughing as if this is like fake news. Really? Do you not think a lot of women in the US that are good looking have OnlyFans or have sugar daddies and they don't use your sexuality? Look at Instagram.
If this isn't confirmation biased at its finest, I don't know what is. Because he's married a Colombian woman who fits in with his very
How is this confirmation bias? Yes, he picked a wife that was good, but what he's saying about Western women isn't incorrect.
narrow view of what a woman should be. She's great. She's feminine. She's kind. She's gentle.
It's not a narrow view of what she should. That's all we want. That's all most men want, is for her to be kind, feminine, and gentle to us and nice to us. All these other extras, men aren't looking for. So yes, it's great for these feminists to do all these things, to have a career and to, be a boss babe and all these, but men aren't attracted to that. So they'd rather go to somewhere else that has the attraction triggers that they want.
And she's not familiar with Cardi B. No one in any other country knows anything about American music. No, you don't get that played all around the world 24/7. And also, like I said,
You're dumb. Yes, it doesn't get played as often as it does here. And it isn't as part of the culture as it is here. Look at all the little girls twerking and listening to all these songs and dancing provocatively with all of these songs. You don't see that in other countries. The young women in other countries are not listening to this major horrible rap genre that is pushing women to sexualize themselves.
there's never been a history of feminism in Colombia. Feminism doesn't exist in Colombia. No left-wing movements have ever existed in Colombia that talk about the liberation of women. Never existed in a country with a long history of communism and socialism. Never existed in the whole of Latin America, which has this history either. And all hot girls in the US have sugar daddies or OnlyFans. Like, again, this is their mindset. I found myself a trad wife who fits in with what I want. Therefore, everyone else in America is fed this culture and Cardi B. Guy's opinion, all they care about.
See, this is bullshit. He's so disingenuous. This is such a disingenuous thing right here. You're acting like as if this is not happening global scale in the US, that women are so different than all these other countries, with how women are operating is more sexualized than other countries. Women are doing these things, exactly what he was saying, but yet you want to make fun and act like it's not happening at all.
Is OnlyFans and using their body to make money. And of course, a lot of the answers you have to other stuff about the vast majority of westernized pro-feminist women believe their market value is vastly greater than it is. If anyone talks like this about their market value, just run. But I brought that comment up because you get other posts like this. Travel while things are good. Women in the big five countries, Colombia, Dominican Republic, Brazil, Philippines, and Thailand, are becoming westernized at an alarming rate, largely thanks to social media, but also because of the passport bro movement growing and oversaturating the markets. As of right now, I strongly suggest not going to these places. There are plenty of lesser known countries in Central America, such as Peru, where you'll find much greater success. I give it 10 years tops before all women all over the world become identical to North American, Western, European, and Canadian women. People replying to this, femme fascist movement will destroy itself. I'm hardcore, not helping any women that think of themselves as a man, and majority of other men that feel the same. In 20 years, you'll start seeing major returns to tradition. Male-female dynamic on the West will die out, and Muslims will take over. So you got everything there: anti-feminist, pro-fascist, anti-Islam, anti-Muslim taking over. That's what this subreddit
How's that anti-Muslim if Muslims are taking over?
is. The sexpat racist subreddit. I mean, of course, we all know the sexpat Passport Bros subreddit is racist and misogynistic, but again, you have more people talking about this.
Again, misogynistic. We just hate men and we're racist. Like, we go to other countries and we praise other countries and other races because if they have something that that isn't in the US, and then we're racist. Okay.
Why so many passport bros feel Western culture makes partners entitled? People replying, because these women's egos over here are completely out of control. They have absolutely no ability to create any semblance of a harmonious home life. They want money and power and pictures to post on social media. They don't got your back. I'd like to be appreciated for who I am, not what I can give you or do for you. And again, I think these comments are just so telling, saying, I like to be appreciated for who I am. So therefore, I'm conservative. I don't want to change. Be my trad wife, or I'll say all this terrible stuff about you.
See, this is bullshit, because this is exactly what women do. You have to accept me as I am. I'm not willing to change for you. I'm not going to quit my career for you. I'm not going to quit my career for our kids. I'm not willing to change for a man. What are you talking about, brother? Women are the ones that have been pushing this narrative for a long time in media and social media. They talk about it constantly. Men are not talking about this on a global scale like this, man. Not the way you seem to be thinking.
And again, it's just conservatives, their inability to deal with the notion that women are equal to them.
No. Well, it's the left that seems to think that women don't have to change for men at all. But men have to change for women. See, what the way you're talking about is it's all men's fault. So we have to change to fit the narrative of women, but women don't have to fit the narrative of men? They don't have to be, traditional wives? They don't have to help cook and clean and help raise the kids for us? The what we want and help support us? But we have to fully support them, pay for all of their things, and give them emotional support? What the fuck?
Women don't have to be their servants. Women don't have to be baby machines. Women don't exist just to support you. That's why these people hate Western women.
People in the West were not popping out 10, 12 babies on a global scale like that. That most people had 1 to 2 kids, man. Maybe 3. Yes, maybe some farmers had like 6 or 7. But what are you talking about, this baby machine, baby making machine? Once they've had 2 to 3 kids, they're done. They get to do whatever they want. They get to enjoy their life after these kids are out of the house. After these kids go to school, they can start careers. They can, start politics. They can do all these things that they want to do. Where is this baby machine coming from? We didn't just lock them up in the bedroom and just pop babies out every 9 months from them. And that's all they were used for. And cooking. This is so crazy that your guys' narrative that are pushing towards men, that men just want fucking slaves, robotic slaves, sex slaves.
And think that if they go abroad, they'll find something else. But as that guy was saying, oh my God, help. Brazil is becoming westernized. The Philippines is becoming westernized. All these countries that used to be colonized by Western countries are becoming westernized. Help. The woke mind virus is everywhere. Or could it be that it doesn't really matter where you are in the world, there are going to be women who stick up for their rights and hopefully change the conversation about dating as well within that. And it can be like across the world no matter what. Yeah, feminist movements exist everywhere. It's not just America. It's not just the United Kingdom and France or whatever. It is the Philippines. There's literally a communist revolution going on there right now. It is Thailand. It is Brazil. Like, do you think feminism doesn't exist in these countries?
We didn't say it didn't. We talk about it didn't take as whole as strongly yet. So there's still traditional women there that you can probably find. Where are you getting that? There's none. We always talk about women are women first. Like, I guess he's using this subreddit, and this subreddit is a little bit off from my point of view and my content and the content creators that I always mess with here on YouTube. But it's crazy that it's even the narratives that this guy's pushing is a little bit like as if it's all men's fault. Like, he says that we're blaming women, it's all their fault. But how he's putting it, it's all men's fault. Oh, it's my fault for not being qualifying for women. It's my fault for leaving the country. It's my fault for not being able to interact with women. It's all my fault.
These guys think not, but also comes to the power dynamics they think they have, because they think these women will be fundamentally impressed by their money above all else, so then they will fit into this mold of trad wife. So moving on, you do get like comments like this, not creepy at all. Mission accomplished. Italian wife acquired. Ask me anything. Does she cook? What are the relationship dynamics like traditional gender roles? Yes. Traditional roles and whatnot. Another very creepy post. I got one. Because these women are...
How was that a creepy post? He got married. Congratulate me. What do you want to know about the wife I got? Like, what's creepy about that, motherfucker? Like,
individuals at all. They're like fish. Currently dating this Filipina. She's straight from there. And I was thrown off by how she just came home after work and started cleaning. Asking me if I was hungry. I thought it was a joke at first. I said, you ain't got to clean, baby. I already did. To which she responded, you need a better broom, and showed me the dust under the couch. She then asked me to drive her to the market and made me buy her a broom, Asian broom. I made dinner the next day because I was off and she wasn't. She was so thankful. She proceeded to message me while we both took turns playing video games and finished the night watching anime. I'm trying not to fall in love so quickly. I mean, at the same time, I don't really believe that story because, suddenly you've gone to the Philippines and you've met the woman of your dreams who not only is your servant who cleans for you, Also,
See, you never traveled. This is exactly how women operate in other countries. They are very into supporting their man. She's not a slave. She's not subservient. She wants to do these things. We didn't tell her to force her to do these things. She chose to do these things because she wants to take pride in her own home. The man cleaned, but he didn't clean well enough for her standards. So she said, fuck you, go buy me an Asian broom so I can do the job better than you. What is like subservient about that? What is like slavery about that? She controlled the narrative. She said, your cleaning sucks. Let me do it. And I'll do a better job. Get me the things I need to do the job done, to get the job done.
loves anime and playing video games with you. I mean, maybe this happened. It seems too good to be true for the sex pack subreddit. Never realised how right everyone was.
See, we talk about stuff and then you disregard it and think that it's something else. And then when you see something like the last story where he's like, oh, it might be true, but I don't know. But all these other things that these men are saying about Western women, you didn't even acknowledge that it might be true.
A few weeks ago, I went to Southeast Asia, and I can say without a doubt, this movement is real. The girls I met were much more feminine in every way. They have traditional values, and every single one of them that I talked to live with their parents. Sometimes they'll go and have a brief stint in a city where they live by themselves, but they typically, if are married, return to their homes. These girls rate on a hot scale, much higher than your average woman in the West, and they are more ready to please. Hell, the stuff I do in the States that will make a girl angry and stop talking to you forever, compared to foreign girls, they'll just laugh. Height? I'm 5'6" and it's not an issue. Weight? I have a fat gut. And the girl I was talking to just squeezed it and laughed. Now granted, these girls do care a bit more about money, but not in the way you think. They just care if you have enough to potentially support them, which is a great thing to have when you contrast this with the Western values of dumping your parents when they get old. Now most people don't like submissive and feminine girls only. They want a strong partner. You cannot look anywhere else better for a submissive, yet powerful and dominant partner when necessary. This girl I was with led me everywhere holding my hand, introduced me to great sights, showed me around town, navigated the streets, got us great deals. These girls are like the stuff you dream of. Lastly, this is just my experience. I was only there less for a month, but still enjoyable regardless. Definitely changed my mind in the world of dating in the West. Yellow fever, racism there as well, like this whole stereotype. And
What racism? He might have yellow fever. Like, what's wrong with having a preference towards a race? Like, I don't get that. Like, I'm gonna end it here just because there's a little bit more to this video, and this video is already gone kind of long. So go ahead and check out his video and see what you guys think about it.